Once there were two good friends named Gru Richard Scarry and Matt Richard Scarry. They were not brothers, but they shared a last name and a love for interesting cars. Their cars were more than just machines to get from one place to another. They were like members of their family. Each car they owned held special stories and memories, like a photo album on wheels. Gru and Matt lived their lives, and as they grew and changed, so did the cars they drove. This is the story of their car journeys, which shows how a simple thing like a car can be a big part of a person's life story. Gru was a person who liked things that were steady and reliable. He chose cars that he knew would be there for him, day in and day out, without any fuss. He wasn't looking for the fastest or the fanciest car on the road. Instead, he wanted a car that felt like a comfortable old friend, one he could count on for trips to the store or long drives on a sunny afternoon. His car choices showed his practical and thoughtful personality. The cars he drove were a quiet but important part of his daily adventures and routines, always ready for the next journey, big or small. Matt, on the other hand, was a bit more adventurous with his cars. He loved the excitement of getting something new and different. For Matt, a car was a way to show his personality and his love for new technology and style. He enjoyed the process of changing cars and trying out different models, each one representing a new chapter in his life. His car journey was full of changes and upgrades, each one bringing a new sense of fun and possibility. Matt's cars were often a topic of conversation, bright and shiny symbols of his energetic spirit. Together, Gru and Matt's car stories paint a wonderful picture. Even though they chose different paths with their vehicles, their cars were always there for the important moments. They were there for happy days, for challenging times, and for all the simple everyday trips in between. By looking at the cars they drove, we can learn a lot about who they were and the lives they lived. Their journeys show us that sometimes the story of a car is also the story of a person, filled with memories that last a lifetime, long after the engine has been turned off for the final time. In the year 2010, Gru Richard Scarry drove a very sensible car. It was a 2009 Jeep Liberty, painted a calm and gentle grey colour. This car was perfect for Gru. It was not too flashy, but it was incredibly dependable, just like him. He took great care of it, making sure it was always clean and running smoothly. He drove this grey Jeep Liberty everywhere, from his daily commute to work to weekend trips to visit family. The grey Jeep Liberty was a familiar sight in his neighbourhood, a quiet and constant part of his life. It was a car that promised safety and comfort on every single drive. For 7 years, the grey Jeep Liberty was Gru's trusted companion. It saw many seasons change and carried many happy memories within its doors. But in 2017, Gru decided it was time for an upgrade. He wanted something a little newer, with more modern features, but he still wanted a car he could rely on. He chose a 2017 white Ford Escape, a sturdy and practical SUV. This new car was painted a light white, like the sky just after sunset. It was bigger than his old Liberty, giving him more space for groceries, luggage, and his hobbies. White Ford Escape. This suited this new phase of Gru's life perfectly. It was just as reliable as his old Jeep, but it felt more modern and spacious. He enjoyed the higher view of the road and the feeling of extra safety it provided. He drove this car for 3 wonderful years, creating new memories with every trip. The white SUV became his new partner for adventures, whether it was a short drive to the park or a longer journey to explore a new town. It was a car that was both practical and comfortable, a perfect match for Gru's personality. Sadly, Gru Richard Scarry passed away in 2020. His journey came to an end, and his white SUV was parked for the last time. That car stood as a quiet reminder of his presence. It held the memories of his final years, of his careful driving, and of the places he went. The simple choice of a reliable silver sedan and then a sturdy white SUV tells a story about a man who valued consistency and comfort. His cars were not just transportation, they were a reflection of his steady and loving character, a part of his life's journey. Matt Richard Scarry's car story began in 2010 with a very different kind of car. He drove a 2011 Ford Explorer, a car known for being SUV and fun. His Explorer was painted a bright, eye-catching red, a color that matched his energetic and outgoing personality. Matt loved the feeling of driving that car, with its powerful engine and sleek design. It was the kind of car that turned heads as it drove down the street. For Matt, this red Ford Explorer was a symbol of freedom and excitement. And he enjoyed every moment he spent behind the wheel, cruising with the windows down and music playing. However, Matt's love for new things meant he didn't keep the Explorer for long. Just 1 year later, in 2011, he decided it was time for a change. He wanted something that was still stylish, but a bit more practical for his daily life. He traded in his sporty red car for a 2011 Hyundai Elantra. This new car was a sophisticated charcoal grey colour. It was a smart and modern sedan that was both fun to drive and good for everyday errands. The Elantra represented a new chapter for Matt, one that balanced his love for style with a need for practicality. Matt enjoyed his grey Elantra for many years. It was a reliable and handsome car that served him well. But by 2018, his desire for something new and exciting returned. He was ready for his next big upgrade. This time he chose a car that was both luxurious and technologically advanced. He bought a brand new 2018 Jeep Compass. This beautiful car was painted a brilliant deep black, which made it look very sleek and elegant. It was the fanciest car Matt had ever owned, and he was incredibly proud of it. Driving the black Jeep Compass made him feel successful and happy. Matt Richard Scarry also passed away in 2020, the same year as his friend Gru. His beautiful black Jeep Compass was the last car he would ever drive. His journey of cars, from the red Explorer to the practical grey Elantra and finally to the luxurious black Jeep Compass, tells the story of his life. Each car showed a different side of his personality and what was important to him at that time. His car choices paint a picture of a man who loved excitement, embraced change, and enjoyed celebrating his success with style and flair. The cars that Gru and Matt Richard Scarry drove were much more than just metal, glass and rubber. They were like treasure chests, holding precious memories of their lives. Think of Gru's grey Jeep Liberty. Inside that car were the echoes of countless conversations, the faint scent of coffee from his morning commute, and the memories of sunny afternoons spent running errands. When he upgraded to his white Ford Escape, it became the new keeper of his stories. It held memories of his later years, of quiet drives and of the peace he found in simple, everyday moments on the road. Matt's cars were also filled to the brim with vibrant memories. His bright red Ford Explorer held the energy of his youth, the sound of loud music and the feeling of exciting, carefree drives. When he switched to the charcoal grey Hyundai Elantra, that car became the backdrop for a different part of his life, a time of settling down a bit while still valuing style. Finally, his shiny black Jeep Compass was a symbol of his hard work and success. It held the memories of proud moments and the feeling of achieving a dream. Each car was a chapter in his life's adventure. When we look at the choices people make, like the cars they buy, we can learn so much about them. Gru's choice of steady, reliable cars shows us he was a person who valued comfort and consistency. He wanted a car he could trust, just as his friends and family could trust him. Matt's series of upgrades, from sporty to practical to luxurious, shows us his dynamic personality. He was a person who embraced change, set goals, and enjoyed celebrating his accomplishments along the way. Their car histories are like biographies written in steel and paint. In the end, the story of Gru and Matt Richard Scarry and their cars teaches us a beautiful lesson. It shows that the ordinary things in our lives, like the car we drive every day, can become extraordinary. They become part of our journey, silent witnesses to our laughter, our challenges and our growth. They carry our stories forward. The red, the blue CR-V and the black BMW are no longer just cars. They are symbols of two lives well lived, filled with unique journeys and cherished memories that will not be forgotten.